Hi, my name's Adam Kunzmiller, and I'm here with Board Game Geek TV. We're at Gen Con 2013, and I'm joined by Christophe Bollinger with Ludically Games. We're here to talk about Dungeon Twister, the card game.
Exactly.
Christophe?
Well, Dungeon Twister, the card game, is a spin-off of Dungeon Twister, the board game that came out in 2004 in France and 2005 in the US. It was quite successful. We had 10 expansions and everything is mixable. It was all with carton miniatures or real miniatures in the latest big box that came out.
Right.
What I saw it in the tournaments in Europe and mainly in Europe. People were carrying
Like
more
these
and
gigantic
more, yeah, with all the miniatures
sets of
and
collections.
there's like more than 100 rooms,
Right.
square rooms that came out, and they're all mixable. So it's great. Everybody loved that. But what I wanted is to be able to play in the train with like two
Right.
magic decks
Without having
that
to
you
have like your 4 backpacks of...
And I didn't want to rip off any of the feeling of Dungeon Twister. I
Right.
wanted to have all the same taste and feeling, except that you lose the 3D miniatures or whatever. So that's what I did. As a matter of fact, in the box you have a tutorial scenario. For example, if I show you the first tutorial card, which is this one, with this card I can teach a 7-year-old kid how to play Dungeon Twister.
Great.
You only have like 4 rooms here. The rooms are like this.
Other
So they
cards.
look like Dungeon Twister, but there's no squares anymore. There's just 4 zones, okay? You only will have 2 characters and 2 objects to select on both sides. In the tutorial, we give them away well, not give them away. We push them to use those type of characters. But then afterwards, when you know the game, in the game there's 25 different characters and 12 or 16 different objects. So you can start right away building your team of players the way you build a Magic deck or a CCG.
Sure.
Where they're in the box game, when you buy the game, you had 8 characters on each side. Okay, it was miniatures, but you were stuck to those 8 miniatures, 8 characters. You needed to have an expansion to have 16 characters and then be able to choose 8 out of the 16.
Right.
In the card game, you can do this right away. So this is one of the advantages provided to the player.
And you can have a much higher volume without necessarily having to produce figures for them all. And everything
Exactly,
like that.
exactly. So what does this card say? It says that you win the game if you have 2 victory points. It says that both players need to choose 2 characters, 2 objects. Okay? I'm not going to show you exactly this one because this is really the kid starting one. Let's see the 3 victory points because you have 3.
I also noticed is this the estimated playtime?
Not the real one. It just shows that this is a short game.
Sure.
It's actually, the small game is actually 10 minutes. Okay? The 3 victory points is actually close to 20 minutes. I guess it's very close to it. The 4 victory points is a bit more than 30
Maybe
minutes.
30
I would
to
say.
40, something like that.
But
Okay.
the highest one would be more than an hour and a half, which is 6 victory points. Okay.
Okay.
Usually here at the Gen Con, I'm teaching with this one because people don't have lots of time. Because in this one we introduce combat. In the first one, there's not even combat. Okay. So the way we pick up rooms, and rooms are always paired, like in the original game. So there's 6 different pairs of rooms, meaning 12 rooms. So let's say we pick those 3 ones. So we shuffle them and place them face down and build the maze, like indicated here.
Based on how it is
that.
here. Yep.
Then we have an action. Well, maybe we should set it up this way, so both players on each side. Let's say you're the blue.
Okay.
This is your action card. You have your characters, and this is my action card.
Okay.
And we're going to place our first characters face down, okay, in front of in there.
All right.
And then we respect what's written on here, saying that we can only put 1 item or character per room on the sides and 2 per
2
room in the middle. Okay? So let's say I win the toss, I'm going to choose maybe to put a character around here, and then it's your turn to place 1 wherever you want.
Okay.
Okay, and then I can place an object or a character around here.
And then I can do here.
Yeah,
right?
okay, and then 1 here. Maybe I didn't give sufficient cards to everybody.
Oh, that's okay.
And then you still have 1 spot.
Yep.
Okay, you just have 1 more. And then we start the game. We reveal our starting team. We can decide the orientation. So I'm going to explain to you how character cards is designed. Combat value, movement value. Why are they on all sides? Because the characters also are going to twist now.
Right.
So we want to be able to read the numbers no matter the position of the card.
Okay.
Then these 4 icons around, the runes and the rotation gear icon here, on each room you have these 4 icons, the rune icons and the gear.
Right.
And what happens is that now to indicate where a character is.
So that's where on that card that character is located.
Exactly. You point the
clever.
character towards the map always. So that means that I'm in this section.
Yep. All right.
And if I wanted to move to this section, there's a trap. I would have to jump or have a rope. Let's say I don't have a rope, I will crash, discard a jump card, and I will rotate my character,
and now
indicating
you're in
now that I'm in there. If I want to reveal this room, now that I'm there, I have a contact right there, I'm going to flip the card, look at all this, and we follow the rules of the old Dungeon Twister. Almost nothing has changed. So now I can decide where I want to place. So you will place this because it's my color. The player never places his own object colors. And I will place the key, for example, something close to me.
This is where the object's going to be located.
Yeah, so I put the object in
and
here
I
so I can
put
grab,
this, on
your
away
side.
from you.
Yeah.
So I'd go like that.
Yeah, so you can grab it. So each time I do an action, the first player starts with 2 actions. So you rotate this card once again towards the map, showing how many actions you had. So each time you spend an action, you rotate that, and when you're down to 0, it's the opener. But you can also save actions. This is what you couldn't do with Dungeon Twister. So let's say I had 3 actions. I played only 1, and I went down to 2, and I say, okay, it's your turn. So each turn we have plus 3 actions. So next turn, since I'm at 2, I'm going to flip on the other side of the card.
Oh, that's where the higher numbers are.
Yeah, and I'm going to go to 5. But I cannot keep any action on this side of the card. I have to use.
So you can only bank this card's
Yeah, exactly,
actions.
this side. Exactly.
Okay.
So this is quite interesting. As a matter of fact, I've seen players of the board game liking the system better than the one that was in the board game. There's no way they couldn't use this and play the board game using this card instead of the action cards we had in the board game. Mainly for people who already know Dungeon Twister, all the rest of the rules are the same. So what I could say is that in the card game, you keep all the strategy, tactic. The random level is still close to 5%, or very, very low. You have control of everything. You don't draw cards, you don't roll dice. The only random is the maze.
Is how it's revealed.
Yeah,
right.
and
like where
as
the
a matter of
traps
fact,
are and stuff like that.
maybe I should say that again, but you need to score 3 victory points in the scenario I just laid out. You score 1 victory point when you exit on the opponent's line, and you score 1 victory point when you kill an opponent character.
Okay.
And you're the one to decide whether you want to go sneaking around and trying to, sneaking
get
out,
other items and
or bash characters. So that's why a lot of couples play, because the girls are not so into bashing. They're more into, rotating the room, trying to get there, grab some objects, lock you a little bit. So you can still do either way. So I kept all of these feelings in the game. The control factor is the same level. The control level is the same. What you gain is portability. What you gain is being able right from the start to create your own team. There's in the rule book there, all the beginning of the rule book shows the tutorial and the rules. So you have the first part is tutorial 1, only teaches you how to move and rotate the cards, jump and all that. Then on tutorial 2, you're gonna have to, it's my way, sorry. In tutorial 2, you're gonna have to fight for the first time. In tutorial 3,
so it kind of walks you through getting in comfortable with all of the things that the game has going on, and that's great.
And then you get to the optional rule. Level 3, you start shooting range attack, and when you get to level 4, then you are in the real Dungeon Twister game.
Right.
And at the end of the book, you have the summary of all the characters, the drawings, and their abilities. So the cards are language independent. Once you get the rules in any type of language, you can play with a German without having any text on the cards, which is quite cool. So portability is one thing. Being able to construct your team right from the start is one thing. And you keep everything that you liked in Dungeon Twister, except that you don't have the 3D miniatures anymore. And in Dungeon Twister Prison, you had a solo version. You don't have a solo version in this one. So that's what you lose. And you gain for the price, because the box is $29 or $30.
Right.
It's 25 euros in Europe. So it's a good way to start and to be able to do plenty of things for not a very expensive price.
And you can expand this 7 times and still fit it all in the box, probably, or close to it.
If it's successful, there's a lot like the Dungeon Twister had Sylvan Creatures that is like, somebody told me he found it on eBay for $200. So maybe the first thing, if the game is successful, we'll put out is a deck of cards, which you would get maybe for $10 or $12, and you will have all the cards from Sylvan Creatures, which I prevented myself from doing here. I didn't want again to go too rich in complexity, so I just kept rooms with regular floors, walls, traps, portcullis, but I didn't put any trees or everything that goes with Sylvan Creatures and stuff like that. Lava, water are not in the box right now.
And is this available now?
It's available at Gen Con. They have 200 copies here because we have to send them by plane.
Right.
It's in the ship, actually. It came out of production maybe 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago.
So it would be available for wide purchase in a couple weeks then?
Yeah, 2-3 weeks. It's coming out officially the 26th of August in Europe,
Okay.
So it should be around the same date here, so maybe in less than 2 weeks even though. But
Okay,
there's
great.
200 copies
Do we have
here.
a question? No, there's not solo play. You mentioned
No,
that,
there's
right?
no solo
That's one
play
of
in
the
this
things
one.
that is lost in this version.
And many players ask me if there was or would be a 4-player version. For the board game, you mix any board with any expansion, you could play 3 and 4 player. Just
Right.
go on the internet and grab the rules for the 3 and 4 players, you could do it. With this game, the way you lay out things and the way technically it works, it is impossible.
So it is
mathematically.
strictly 2-player.
Yeah, I would never be able to make it a 4-player game. I mean, up to now, I didn't find any solution. I'm quite
Sure.
sure it's mathematically impossible to do it for 4
Okay.
players, so that they know right away.
Still looks like a very clever system that you've devised here. So.
I think looking at it from outside now, afterwards, that it's a card game, but not really, because I've never seen
Sure.
any card game that is really a dungeon crawler. Like, you use the card, but it's like a board game with cards. You're really going through, you really have locations. It's physically representing some actions physical on the
Alright.
board. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not just I'm attacking and there's no locations
Or
of
just
things.
I play this card and now I respond to this card.
Exactly.
Right.
It is really a real board game with only cards, kind of.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Christophe. And once
You're
again,
welcome.
that was Dungeon Twister, the card game.
Happy twist.